Have you ever caught yourself saying, "I'm sorry," for something that, deep down, you know wasn't your fault? Maybe you apologized for taking too long to decide at a restaurant, or for not keeping up with the latest tech like your grandkids do. It's something so many of us do, especially as we get older, and it's time we talk about it. After 60, life becomes this beautiful chapter where you've earned the right to stand tall, to own your choices, and to let go of the weight of unnecessary apologies. Yet, so often, we're still saying sorry out of habit, or because we feel like we're in the way. Well, I'm here to tell you that it's time to reclaim your self-respect and stop apologizing for things that make you, well, you. In this video, we're diving into 6 things you should stop apologizing for after 60. These are the habits, choices, and truths that you've earned the right to embrace without guilt or hesitation. We're going to talk about why these apologies sneak into our lives, how they chip away at our confidence, and, most importantly, how you can let them go to live with more freedom and joy. Before we get started, I'd love for you to help me out. If you find this content helpful, please give this video a like, share it with a friend, and hit that subscribe button. My goal is to reach 1,000 followers so I can keep sharing more tips like these with you. Alright, let's dive into the first thing you should stop apologizing for. Picture this: you're at a family gathering, and someone asks you to join in on a game or activity. Maybe it's a fast-paced card game, or a walk that's a bit longer than you're up for. You say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I just can't keep up anymore." Sound familiar? The first thing to stop apologizing for is slowing down. As we age, our bodies and energy levels change, and that's not something to be ashamed of, it's something to honor. You've spent decades rushing around, raising families, building careers, and keeping everything together. Now, you get to set your own pace. There's a story I heard about a woman named Margaret, who's 68. She used to apologize every time she couldn't join her friends for their weekly hiking trips. She felt like she was letting them down because her knees just couldn't handle the steep trails anymore. One day, she decided to stop saying sorry and instead invited her friends for a leisurely coffee walk around her neighborhood park. To her surprise, they loved it. They got to talk more, laugh more, and enjoy each other's company without the pressure of keeping up. Slowing down doesn't mean you're less capable, it means you're wise enough to listen to your body and prioritize what feels good. So, the next time you're tempted to apologize for taking a break or skipping something that's too much, try this instead. Say, "I'm choosing what works for me today." It's a small shift, but it's powerful. You're not saying sorry, you're owning your choice. Start practicing this in little moments, like when you need an extra minute to get out of the car or when you pass on a late-night event. You'll be amazed at how much lighter you feel when you let go of that unnecessary sorry. Now, let's move on to the second thing you should stop apologizing for: saying no. Oh, this one's a biggie. How many times have you said yes to something, a favor, an invitation, a commitment, because you didn't want to disappoint someone? And then, when you finally muster the courage to say no, you follow it up with, "I'm so sorry, I just can't." After 60, it's time to let go of that guilt. You've spent years putting others first, and while that's a beautiful part of who you are, you deserve to protect your time and energy now. Saying no isn't selfish, it's self-respect. I remember talking to a gentleman named Frank, who's 72. Frank used to say yes to every request, from helping his neighbor fix a fence to volunteering for every church event. He'd apologize profusely when he couldn't do it all, feeling like he was letting people down. One day, he realized he was exhausted, and his own hobbies, like painting, were gathering dust. So, he started saying no to things that didn't light him up. At first, he felt guilty, but he practiced saying, "Thanks for asking, but I'm focusing on some personal projects right now." No apologies, just clarity. And you know what? People respected him more for it. They saw him as someone who valued his time, and they started valuing it too. Here's how you can start: the next time someone asks you to do something, pause. Ask yourself, does this bring me joy, or am I just saying yes to avoid guilt? If it's the latter, say no kindly but firmly. You don't owe anyone an explanation, and you definitely don't owe them an apology. Try phrases like, I appreciate the invite, but I'm going to pass this time. It's direct, it's respectful, and it's liberating. Over time, you'll notice how much more energy you have for the things and people you truly care about. Before we wrap up this part, let's touch on one more thing you should stop apologizing for: your appearance. Society loves to tell us there's a right way to age: stay wrinkle-free, keep your hair dyed, dress a certain way. And when we don't meet those standards, it's easy to feel like we need to apologize for looking our age. Maybe you've said, I'm sorry, I didn't have time to get ready, when you show up in comfy clothes, or, I'm sorry, I look so tired today. Here's the truth: you don't owe anyone an apology for how you look. Your lines, your gray hair, your style, they're a map of a life well lived. Take my friend Clara, who's 65. She used to apologize for not wearing makeup or for her silver hair, especially at events where everyone seemed polished. Then, one day, she decided to embrace her natural look. She stopped covering her grays and started wearing what made her feel good, not what magazines told her to wear. People started complimenting her, not just on her appearance, but on her confidence. She realized that when she stopped apologizing, she started shining. So, whether you love dressing up or you're all about cozy sweaters, own it. Stop saying sorry for your wrinkles or your wardrobe. Instead, smile and say, this is me, and I'm happy with that. We've covered a lot today: slowing down, saying no, and embracing your appearance. These are all about reclaiming your self-respect and letting go of guilt that doesn't serve you. There's more to explore, so let's keep this conversation going with the next few things you should stop apologizing for. Let's keep this conversation rolling with the next thing you should stop apologizing for after 60, your emotions. You know those moments when you feel a tear well up during a heartfelt movie, or you get frustrated because things aren't as easy as they used to be? Maybe you've said, I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm so emotional today, as if you need to justify feeling what you feel. Here's the thing: your emotions are a gift, a sign that you're alive and connected to the world around you. After 60, you've been through enough to know that life is a mix of highs and lows, and you don't need to apologize for experiencing either. I met a woman named Diane, who's 67, at a community book club. She told me she used to feel embarrassed when she'd cry during discussions about certain novels. Stories about love or loss hit her hard. She'd apologize, thinking she was making others uncomfortable. But one day, another member thanked her for being so open. It turns out, her tears gave everyone else permission to feel their own emotions too. Diane realized her feelings weren't a burden, they were a bridge to deeper connections. So, whether you're laughing louder than anyone else at a joke or feeling a little grumpy on a tough day, don't say sorry. Your emotions are part of your story, and they're nothing to hide. Here's a practical way to embrace this: when you feel an emotion bubbling up, pause and name it to yourself. Maybe it's joy, sadness, or even irritation. Instead of pushing it down or apologizing, say something like, I'm really touched by this, or, I'm feeling a bit off today, and that's okay. It's a simple way to honor what's going on inside without judgment. Try it the next time you're with friends or family, and you'll notice how it shifts the conversation. People don't need you to be fine all the time, they value your realness. Now, let's talk about another big one: asking for help. Oh, how often do we apologize for needing a hand? Maybe you've said, I'm so sorry to bother you, but can you help me with this? Whether it's carrying groceries, figuring out a new phone, or just needing someone to listen. After 60, it's easy to feel like you should have everything figured out, like needing help is a sign of weakness. But here's the truth: asking for help is a sign of strength. It shows you're self-aware, and it builds stronger relationships with the people around you. Think about someone like Robert, who's 70. He used to apologize every time he asked his son to help with small home repairs, feeling like he was imposing. But his son finally told him, "Dad, I love helping you. It makes me feel closer to you." That changed everything for Robert. He started asking for help without the "sorry" attached, and it opened up more moments of connection with his family. Asking for help isn't about being a burden, it's about inviting others into your life in a meaningful way. So, the next time you need a hand, try saying, "I'd really appreciate your help with this," instead of starting with an apology. It's a small change, but it shifts the dynamic. You're not imposing, you're creating an opportunity for teamwork. Here's a tip to make this easier: think of one small thing you've been hesitant to ask for help with. Maybe it's learning how to use a new app or getting a ride to an appointment. Reach out to someone you trust and ask without apologizing. You might be surprised at how eager they are to step in. And when they do, thank them instead of saying sorry. It reinforces that positive connection. Over time, you'll see that asking for help doesn't diminish your independence, it enhances your life. Let's wrap up this part with one more thing to stop apologizing for: your past. We all have stories, choices we made, paths we took, mistakes we learned from. Maybe you've caught yourself saying, "I'm sorry, I should have done things differently," when you share a memory with someone. After 60, it's tempting to look back and feel like you need to justify your life. But every step you took brought you here, and that's something to celebrate, not apologize for. I remember chatting with a man named George, who's 64. He used to apologize when he talked about his career, feeling like he hadn't achieved as much as his peers because he switched jobs a few times. But one day, his granddaughter asked him to tell her about his life, and he shared his story without the apologies. He talked about the adventures, the lessons, the people he met along the way. His granddaughter was captivated, and George realized his past wasn't something to regret, it was a treasure. Your past, with all its twists and turns, is what makes you uniquely you. So, when you share a story, don't preface it with "sorry." Just tell it. Say, "That's part of my journey," and let it shine. Here's how you can start: the next time you're tempted to apologize for something in your past, pause and reframe it. Instead of saying, "I'm sorry I didn't finish college," try, "I took a different path, and it taught me so much." It's not about erasing regrets, it's about owning your story with pride. Share it with a friend, a child, or a grandchild, and watch how it inspires them. Your life is a gift, and you don't need to apologize for any part of it. We've talked about some powerful shifts today: embracing your emotions, asking for help, and owning your past. These are all steps toward living with more confidence and self-respect. Let's keep going with the final piece of this journey, diving into the last thing you should stop apologizing for. Let's dive into the final thing you should stop apologizing for after 60, living life on your terms. By now, you've navigated decades of expectations, societies, families, maybe even your own inner critics. And yet, how often do you find yourself saying, "I'm sorry, but I just want to do things my way"? Maybe you've apologized for wanting to spend a quiet evening at home instead of going out, or for choosing a hobby that others don't quite get, like collecting vintage records or gardening at dawn. After 60, you've earned the right to shape your days however you want, without justifying it to anyone. Living life on your terms isn't rebellious, it's a celebration of the wisdom you've gained. I heard about a woman named Evelyn, who's 69. She used to apologize for turning down social events because she preferred her morning painting sessions. Friends would tease her, saying she was missing out, and she'd feel guilty, mumbling, "Sorry, I just need my quiet time." Then, one day, she stopped. She started saying, "I love my painting mornings, they're my joy." Not only did her friends stop pushing, but some even asked to see her artwork. Evelyn realized that when she owned her choices without apology, people respected her more. Your time is precious, and you get to decide what fills it. Whether it's binge-watching a classic TV show, taking up ballroom dancing, or just sitting on your porch with a cup of tea, don't say sorry for what lights you up. Here's a way to make this real. Think about one thing you love but feel hesitant to prioritize because it might seem unusual or selfish. Maybe it's spending an afternoon reading instead of running errands for someone else. The next time you're tempted to apologize for it, try saying, "This is what I'm choosing today, and it feels great." It's like giving yourself permission to be unapologetically you. Start small. Maybe it's saying no to a phone call so you can finish a puzzle, or picking a restaurant you love even if it's not everyone's favorite. Over time, you'll notice how empowering it feels to live without that nagging need to explain yourself. Now, as we bring this all together, think about what we've explored. We've talked about letting go of apologies for slowing down, saying no, embracing your appearance, owning your emotions, asking for help, and living life on your terms. Each of these is a step toward reclaiming your self-respect, a way to honor the incredible person you've become. It's not about becoming someone new, it's about shedding the habits that dim your light. You don't have to make grand gestures to see a difference. It's in the small moments, choosing a cozy sweater without apology, saying no to a favor with kindness, or sharing a story from your past with pride, that you'll feel freer, stronger, and more like yourself. I want to leave you with this: you've spent years building a life full of love, lessons, and resilience. Don't let unnecessary apologies steal your joy. Every time you catch yourself saying sorry for something that's just part of being you, pause and ask, is this something I need to apologize for, or is this just me living my truth? More often than not, you'll find it's the latter. And when you do, smile and keep going. You're not just reclaiming your self-respect, you're showing the world what it looks like to age with grace and confidence. I'd love to hear from you now. In the comments below, share one thing you're going to stop apologizing for, or maybe a moment when you chose to stand tall instead of saying sorry. Your stories inspire others, and they remind us we're all in this together. If this video resonated with you, please give it a like, hit that subscribe button, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. It means the world to me and helps me keep creating content like this for you. Here's to living your best life at any age, unapologetically and with all the joy you deserve.